It was the first ever Bryan Martin wine, which is still...
He's a wizard. Combined balance of purity and freshness and texture and drinkability.
It's amazing.
It's 11
still so fresh, which is crazy for a 12-year-old Riesling.
It's amazing.
Oh my God. How is it still so good?
G'day guys, Tom and Wade here from DD. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
How good a trip did we have last week to Canberra?
Epic trip.
To our great nation's capital.
Yes. Little tired and confused on the way home, but it was a...
And that was you sitting in the back seat.
So I think I was actually working.
Yeah. I got stuck, imagining me and Brett got stuck in that traffic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, actually.
I could just go home, but yeah. Bummer.
Mate, there are lots of highlights now, a couple of days away, but we crashed at a good mate Bryan Martin of Ravensworth fame's place at the estate on Wednesday night. Had an amazing afternoon and evening with him, and he very kindly showed us some older wines there, and that we thought we'd bring back. And I don't know, we probably thought we'd polish them off, but there's a couple little residual bits and pieces here.
Yeah.
And we had a quick look at them. So today we were filming, it's Monday, 5 days ago. We opened these, and they were sitting around. We thought, let's have a taste, and they still look bloody good. So we thought we'd share them with you guys and talk a little bit about our little getaway to Ravensworth.
Yeah.
2013 Riesling for you, mate?
2013 Riesling. So we actually opened a bunch of older Ravensworth wines that night, right back to, do you remember? Was it 20?
John Jobbins?
Yeah, 2001?
2001
Sauvignon Blanc that Bryan made, which was like one of his first ever wines. Or the first.
It
was the first ever Bryan Martin wine. It wasn't even Ravensworth yet.
Yeah.
Which still, like, it didn't look terrible.
It was definitely not shit.
No, it was not shit. It should have been at that age.
No, he's a wizard.
Yeah. So
very generous. Opened up some amazing bottles. So, just before we even talk about the wine, how amazing is the Martin estate?
Oh my God. It's just like a little piece of Eden, isn't it?
It's his own little, hamlet. It's like you go through the gate, he's got the big cleaver on the front gate, of course. And he's got his beautiful vineyard there with Shiraz, Riesling and Marsanne and everything else he has planted there.
With growing any sort of fruit is that it grows its best if it just looks after itself. But if you're having to constantly fertilise and water, is that sort of ends up changing the flavours of grapes. You ferment them into wine, and that way you really are trying to carry that idea of terroir into the wine. And I reckon everything you do with chemicals just takes a bit away each time. So if you can get away from using any chemicals in the process in the vineyard in the winery, it's just the fruit then. So that's the true expression of terroir to me.
And then his beautiful house there, which he's sort of half built, and the shed. Like that barrel room is something else, isn't
really?
It? So he made it with his own hands from like local mud taken from the estate in the area, and then like condensed hay.
Yeah.
And it's just perfectly.
There's no aircon because it's like cool in Canberra anyway. So it's just like, that sort of mud brick thing that he's done. It's all.
And all of his vessels.
Yeah.
Loves a vessel, doesn't he?
Mate, he's cut some toys in there, eh? So there's like everything from like huge food drop.
Yeah.
Which we're going to actually taste one of the wines in that today. Through to, obviously classic sort of oak barrels and whatnot. There's ceramic eggs.
Yeah.
There's clay amphora.
Yeah, beautiful.
There's the wine globes.
Oh, the globes.
The globes.
Yeah.
Which actually, it's like a giant glass sphere.
Yeah.
That wears a little skirt.
It's perfectly innate.
Yeah.
So it's just zero oxygen. They're not close at all.
And so the wines in that were fascinating because they were just so. It was like a laser focus on variety and sight because there's no you're not getting any extra texture from anything. It's just literally grape juice in its actual purest form.
Yeah. He loves them too. He wasn't sure. He said he hoped he'd hate them because I think he got some budget from Wine Australia or something to trial the things. And he's like, I really hoped I wouldn't like them. He's like, but I fucking love them. And, and they're like $9,000 a pop or something.
Yeah, but they're awesome. So more to come on those. I think there'll be some wines down the track.
And such a good spot. He's got the garden out the front, the veggie garden.
Yep.
So Jocelyn's got an amazing veggie garden. They rear all their own animals. But probably the most impressive part of the whole thing was the pizza oven.
The pizza oven is just all time,
isn't it? It was massive. And he had some Italian guy.
Yeah.
Were you there and he's explaining?
Calabrian dude.
Yeah, came out with this specialty of this type of particular design. Anyway, it was enormous industrial grade pizza oven.
It's just so unnecessarily big.
Yeah.
For just him and Jocelyn at home.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
He said it takes him all day. He literally texted me in the morning. We got there at like 4 in the afternoon. He texted me, well, I've got the fire going on the pizza oven for like 4 pizzas.
And it stays hot for like 2 days.
So
But that's kind of like... That is Bryan Munn. Yeah. He does nothing by halves. No. If he gets an idea in his head, he's like...
Loves tinkering and just making shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? I mean, amazing chef. Those pizzas were outrageous. And the wines, like, he's got the golden touch, really. Like, there's so many different varieties and blends and styles that Bryan's working with these days. He's never... he's restless, I'd call him, as a winemaker. You know, he's always doing new things. But the staples probably have been the 3 wines we have here. Yeah, from the very beginning. I think they're the 3 kind of OGs of the Ravensworth range.
Totally.
So Riesling, 2013, you can see the Grainery we have here as well, both 2013 with the old Ravensworth packaging as well, if you can see that. So this thing is amazing because this is, firstly, it's been open now 5 days. It's bounced around a car on the way back from Canberra. We almost forgot about it. We said, look, it has not moved.
It's amazing.
It's 11
still so fresh.
11 years old.
Like, you can see the colour of that there, I'm sure. But it's still like green, gold in colour, which is crazy for a 12-year-old Riesling, 11-year-old Riesling.
Amazing. And his touch of Riesling. So this was the wine that really kick-started Ravensworth in a lot of ways. Yeah. I put Bryan on the map because he was still working with Clonakilla at this stage as Tim Kirk's assistant winemaker. This wine picked up the trophy for Best Riesling and Best Wine at the 2013 Canberra show. And it beat out a lot of other incredible Rieslings that day. Mike Betty was head judge. I was just reading some of his notes. And he said, it combined balance and purity and freshness and texture and drinkability and blah, blah, blah. And it does have
things it still has.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of Bryan's Rieslings is that because Canberra gives you that lovely austere kind of line and liminess, but he works in that texture better than anyone and just adds some phenolics, adds some kind of breadth to the palate. It just makes them so good to drink. But I haven't had one this old.
No. Well, this is like kind of... There were previous Ravensworth wines, but this is like, I think 2009 back to, roughly. But he was telling us that this is like the 2013 vintage is where he kind of like marks it as this is the start of Ravensworth as we know it today. Yeah. Like that's the year the brand started. And this is the wine that sort of put him first on the map. So
what a drink.
Yeah,
I mean, and these are such great value. Like the estate Riesling these days might be $45 or something, but given it'll age forever. But even just the regional Riesling, which comes off his site and a couple others, at like $29-$30. Like
awesome value,
outrageous value.
Yeah,
it just aged so well. So for those wondering, I've got some Ravensworth Riesling in the cellar. Should I be cracking it? You don't have to be in a hurry. That thing has barely budged.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Oh my God, how is it still so good?
This was the one, though. The next one was the surprise packet, right? So the Grainery, always a bit of a Rhone blend, but the blend in 13, right? It's on here somewhere, I think, isn't it? So the Grainery is named after an old grain store on the Martin property. And the 2013 is a blend of Marsanne, Roussanne, Chardonnay, Viognier, Riesling, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, and Sauvignon Blanc.
This classic Canberra blend.
It's a field blend.
Yep.
So, and all picked together.
Yep.
Fermented together in some 600-litre barrels, no real ads to that wine. Now, this at the time, we were looking up some of the old notes, some of the old reviews. So, Halliday, 88 points, drink by 2015.
Yeah.
And this was maybe the wine of the night. The other.
It was this in the 15 Sangiovese.
Oh, yeah.
Were the two.
We polished that on.
That had no chance of making it home. It was like
drilled pizza one.
But this was like absolutely the surprise packet. So if you can see the color of that wine now, Viognier, Marsanne, Roussanne, these aren't varieties that typically we probably associate with like long ageability in Australia.
No, not here.
They're more, you think richer, more luscious, kind of like. Immediately approachable.
I mean, Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, Sauvignon Blanc blends on the other hand.
I got
to sell it for
all about longevity, aren't they? Yeah, the classics. But this is looks like it was made like 3 years ago. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's like, so it's got a lovely kind of marzipan-y kind of body to it.
Aromatically, it looks a little more developed. So you put your nose in there and it's showing some of those, marzipan, kind of honeyed characters, right? And you'd expect them to taste it to be a bit flabby and fallen over, but it's still got so much zip.
So, like, it's a weird, wonderful blend, but you can tell that the acid balance of that wine must have been so on point when he made it, because, like, all the compartments, all the components of it still, you can still see little bits of, like, little inflection of, like, rose water from Pinot Gris. You can still see, like, the and Gewürzi sort of characters. There's insane freshness there.
Yeah, the Riesling obviously freshen things up a bit.
Little bit of gingery sort of Viognier character to it. It's just an absolutely belting drink.
Just a joy to drink, hey? Texture, flavour, definitely like richer than this.
Yeah.
But still fresh. So I think when you're looking at this as a young wine, you think about the varieties and it's about upfront drinking next couple of years. But the same again as the Riz, like that ages unbelievably well. What a surprise packet.
13 whites. Absolutely on the money.
It's just like looking at that blend. Like that's what he's all about, isn't it? Like you go like so. Like we were trying to go to bed.
Yeah,
God knows what time it was. And Brian's like, come on, I want to show you guys some parcels. So we go into the shed, and he's like, oh, these are the like 4 different parcels that go into the which wine was it? The Sange or the was it the
the
Nebbiolo?
The Nebbiolo,
yeah, because he had some in Globe and some in M4 and some in Oak and just like the tinkering back and forth. That's what makes Ravensworth what it is. He's just a mad scientist.
Yeah, that was actually super cool, wasn't it, to see it all broken down in those parts like that?
Yeah, from what I remember.
It was pretty blurry by that time of the morning, as I recall. But yeah, no. It was what a visit. All right, so then we tasted a bunch of other reds and whatnot, but really like one of our favourite wines, I think, from even back when we were selling it, was this 2019 Shiraz Viognier. So there was a period there where like all the estate grown wines, which have this different label, Bryan sort of skipped a vintage, so he could push everything back a year.
Yeah.
Which for a small producer, the cash flow hit there for taking an extra 12 months to release wines.
And he actually did it 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
because in 2020 he didn't have any wines because of the bushfires. So this was the 20. So typically you would have released the 2019 in 2020. But he decided I want to keep it an extra year. So fermented this in because he usually would, and then the second year those big large stockies, the big Austrian Stockinger Ferdrets in the second year. And then so that was released in 2021. Then the 2020 he would have released in 2022, but he didn't have any 2020 because of the fires.
Yeah.
So he went from releasing wine in 19, then 21, then 23.
Yeah.
And so really stretched it out. So there wasn't a lot of Shiraz Viognier around for those couple of years. But this wine, which got some amazing reviews at the time, I think really benefits from that extra year of maturation.
And it's really like the signature. It's probably the signature Ravensworth wine, right? Because we also went and checked in with Tim Kirk at Clonakilla on
checked in.
Checked in. Actually, we had a pretty
Tim Kirk checked in with us.
We had a pretty sick barrel tasting with him actually, which is 24 Shiraz Viognier is going to be an absolute belter, by the way.
Yeah, but I love those 23s.
23s
so
are
pretty.
Really pretty, yeah.
Anyway, but that's only Clonakilla video.
No, I know, we're not. But
although Brian would understand and appreciate that.
But, we spent a lot of time when we were down there talking about his time there.
Yeah.
And sort of what a formative experience that was.
Absolutely.
And him and Tim's friendship and just how much he's learned from Tim over the years. And he gives him a lot of credit.
Yeah, without doubt.
Developing his style. So this isn't Clonakilla Shiraz Viognier, it's Ravensworth. It's distinctly its own thing. But I think this is the first year where, probably from like 2015, it really started to find its mojo, this wine. And then this year, the 2019 with that extra year in barrel, now you're off to the races.
Yeah. It's just, if you compare it to the Clonakilla, I think they both are unmistakably like Canberra Shiraz. There's that red fruited character, the floral perfume, so silky, like it's really quite distinct. You see some similarities with the Yarra Valley, although in the Yarra you get a bit more pepper, a bit more spice.
Definitely, because you do get more plushness in Canberra than you do in the Yarra.
But just the fruit profile and that silkiness. But I find the Ravensworth just has that little bit of like, he's just got a little screw loose, you know, just a little bit of animal, little bit wild there.
Yeah.
And the wine is clean and absolutely spotless and delicious, but there's just this extra kind of earthy, meaty component.
There's always an element of gaminess about this wine, even on release. But this is a really plush, juicy vintage of this wine. And this is about bang on where I want to drink it, I think. Like, because you can just start to see, like, the slightest hint of development there. So it's going a little bit more terracotta in the glass.
Yeah.
You're starting to get a little bit more savory through the back end. And, you know, some of the really, like, intense upfront fruit is just slowly, like, dialing down a bit. And it's just absolutely gorgeous to drink. Like, this is why you keep... I'm not a huge, like, cellar wines for 20 years because I haven't even been buying wine for 20 years. Maybe I am. I don't know. I have some things there.
Thereabouts.
But I think this is, like, sweet spot drinking, right? Still got primary fruit. You've got that benefit of a little bit more relaxed time in bottles, so the wine actually just drinks beautifully now. I think it's, like, right on the money.
Great lineup and just, like, such a original and awesome producer. Like, we've spoken a lot about Ravensworth over the years, but we just love Bryan. He's such a gentleman and such an interesting character and so thoughtful with the wines. The wines are so delicious to drink. They speak of place, they speak of his winemaking style, and they're just thrilling because there's just always new stuff happening. And to see just how beautifully they're aging, there's just another feather in the man's cap.
Yeah. I thought this was
he probably took that feather off himself, I reckon.
I thought this was going to be so garbage when he pulled it out, hey?
Yeah.
And it was, almost wine of the day. So, very cool stuff.
Very cool stuff. So, guys, amazing trip. Cheers, Dolls.
Cheers.
Guys, support Ravensworth. Just what a producer.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
So delicious now.